Hi, my fellow grade 12s. Welcome to my YouTube account. Please subscribe, like, and share the video content. Okay, this is Teacher Patty. I'm an accounting teacher, an accounting lecturer, an accounting tutor, and a registered professional accountant of South Africa, and also a master's student in management accounting. So yeah, I've been doing this subject since standard 5. Yeah, I'm that old. I'm a fossil. I go way back in standards. So I just need to share something with you, grade 12s. I was hoping, so if I look down, just know that I'm just going through my laptop. I was hoping to share this as a Microsoft video so that you can see the spreadsheet I compiled. But you know what? The video quality was so bad in my Microsoft Teams. It was like disappearing into shadows. So it's like, no, there's no way YouTube is gonna accept the quality of the video, the one I did on Microsoft Teams. So I'll share this one that I did using my phone. It's much of a better quality. So so today I just want to remember we are working on getting a distinction in accounting. So for you as a grade 12, you need to know the weight each paper holds. So you know that accounting is divided into 2 papers that are written the same day in the IEB world and also in the government world. So I must put a disclaimer: I'm not a representative for IEB or a representative for the government. I'm not any of their officials, so I'm not doing anything for them in terms of publicity and all. I'm just sharing what I gathered. So I'm not representing the IEB or the government in this regard, but I just gathered information from the question papers, and then I had to analyze the weightings. So you have to understand your paper one. Your paper one in an IEB world, it's out of 200 marks. That 200 marks, it's very interesting that the chunk of it goes to companies. Almost, if I can look now, I'm looking down, I'm just going through my numbers. Out of the 200, I'll add now the financial statements, the cash flow, they make up 111. This is 2021 November question paper. So companies were more than 50% of the question. In fact, let me do the percentages for you. So companies weighed 56% of paper 1. Now, what does that mean to you as a grade 12? If you do not do well in companies, that's all I can say. So you have to understand companies because they carry so much weight. This is an IEB question paper where they were 56%. Am I looking at the right thing? Yes, they weighed 56%. So you can imagine if you don't do well in the 56%, what are your chances? So understand your companies thoroughly. There is no better way you can do this. You need to understand your companies thoroughly. You need to understand them purely, and thoroughly. You can't have mercy on companies. They carry so much weight for you not to give it your all. So understand your companies. Practice your companies. If you still don't understand, get a tutor. Get a Saturday school, get someone to assist you to master companies, because paper 1, it's the biggest weight lies on companies. The second biggest for 2021 in an IB question paper, it was manufacturing. So manufacturing was 22%. So the cash flow and the financial statements, they weighed 56%. Manufacturing weighed 22%. So you can imagine if you combine companies and manufacturing, you're sitting at 77%. If you're not comfortable now with the work, let's just do the maths. if you're not comfortable now with the math, if you're not comfortable now with both topics, let's do the math. You're sitting with 77% of the work you do not understand. So I think now you know what I'm going to say. I won't say it. But on the flip side, if you understand the companies and the manufacturing, wow, you are on a good path. You are on a good path to get that distinction. You're on a good path to do very well in the exam. So the other, I think it's the second last, it's inventories. So that's your FIFO, your weighted average method. They're like 12% of the question paper. So you can't undermine it because it's 12%. Let's say in companies, out of the 56, you could get 30. And then out of inventory, you can balance up and try and get a 10% out of the 12. And you can still pick up. The last one, it was VAT. VAT was 9%. So also, I don't want you to undermine the question because it's a bit smaller. Everything counts for something. If you're aiming for a distinction, you must understand the full body of work. So even that 6% adds into something. So that was the IEB. So let's look now on the national paper that was written countrywide. That's not IEB. The companies and the cash flow. So remember guys, I said when I'm looking down, just need this cushion to support me, thank you. When I'm looking down, I'm just doing my addings in my laptop. Okay, so for 2021, the national paper that was written countrywide, I think it's the NSC paper for accounting paper 1. You've guessed it, companies took the cup. Companies were 60% of the weighting, and this paper was out of 150. So companies were 60% of that. So my fellow grade 12, you need to master companies. There's no way around accounting without you mastering companies. So it was the weighting was 60%, and the interpretation of financial information was 27. Now, I did highlight that I'm a trained professional accountant. So even the interpretation of financial statements is still part of companies. So if we're adding the interpretation of financial statements, your companies were 87% last year. So your paper 1 is very big on financial statements. It's very big on companies. Okay, so the other big chunk, it was corporate governance. It was not as big as we would have anticipated. It's 13 marks. Don't undermine corporate governance. There is a bit of, I don't know how to put it, there's a bit of fear, that's the right word, around theory in accounting. As a grade 12 child, especially if you're going to continue with accounting or do your master's in business administration, financial statements and the interpretation of financial statements is always going to be there. It's always going to be there. You can't just be a number cruncher. That's what my professor used to say at CYPA, that you can't be a number cruncher. Make sense of the numbers. Make sense for the users. So that's what they're training you at this stage, is that you must make sense of the numbers, make sense of the business environment, the ethics and the compliance in the business environment. Okay, let's quickly run to 2020 and see what were the percentages. For IEB question paper, companies were still over 50. They were 52% in terms of weighting, in terms of marks. This is in terms of mark allocation, the weight of the paper. They were 52%. And then the next one that followed, well, it was manufacturing at 19%, inventory, your FIFO, your weighted average at 15%, and then VAT at 8%. Okay, so if we quickly run to the National Senior Certificate question paper and just add 90% was companies. Guys, There's no way around paper one without you mastering companies. I don't know how many times I'm saying that in the video. It was 90% in 2020, and corporate governance was 10%. So even if you mastered corporate governance, it's only 10%, so you're not going to get a distinction. So you have to master your companies. So quickly moving to 2019, in IEB, companies was 57%, and manufacturing was 22%. So you can see the trend now, you can pick up the trend. I did this analysis over 3 years, 2019, 2020, 2021, for you to understand the weight, how are the marks distributed in these questions. Okay, the NSC for 2019, I think this was a combined paper because it was out of 300. Correct me if I'm wrong. It was 73% in terms of the weight. It was 73%. So I think I've done you justice in terms of making you understand the weight of each topic in paper one. So now you know which area to put so much focus on, because your success lies in you mastering. In paper one, you have to master companies. You have to master the financial statements. That is your statement of comprehensive income, your statement of financial position, your cash flow statement, your analysis and interpretation, and the audit report. Sometimes they put a little bit of audit reports there. So guys, I beseech you, I beseech you, master companies for paper one. If you master the companies, you stand a good chance of getting your distinction. If you don't do well in companies, then it's something else. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe, like, share the video, invite your friends, your kids, and share with your colleagues. It's highly appreciated. Thank you. Bye from Teacher Party.